Okay, and we're just going to do another quick example of finding the width and height and area of a television screen. However, this time we're going to be using a different aspect ratio than the 4:3. This one says find the width and height of a newer 65-inch television that has a screen aspect ratio of 16:9. So again, when they give you an aspect ratio, for example 16:9, this is the width and this is the height. The width is always a longer number and the height is always a shorter number. Okay, so make sure we keep those straight. All right, so as far as getting our information onto our picture, the 65-inch television, again, they're telling you the diagonal, the one going across here. So that's the 65-inch television. The aspect ratio is talking about the sides out here, those two sides there. So this one is the width is a 16, and again the height is a 9. Now again, those aren't the actual dimensions, that's the aspect ratio, and so we need the scale factor. And we're going to call that x, which is what we're going to solve for. So that x, that scale factor, is what I can multiply the 16 and 9 by to get back to the original height. So I'm going to say this is 16x and 9x. So there's my aspect ratios and my scale factor. All right, so using that information, we can now go in and find what x is that we can use to find the width and height and then the area. All right, so we need to plug these into the Pythagorean theorem because they form a triangle, a right triangle specifically. So we got 16x quantity squared plus 9x quantity squared is equal to 65 squared. Okay, and so now the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go through and square all these numbers. So 16 squared is 256 x squared. 9 squared is 81 x squared is equal to 65 squared is 4,225. Okay. Now, again, solving our equation here, we're going to combine our like terms, 256 and 81. That is 337 x squared. And then bring down the 4,225. So again, we're solving for x. So I had to get rid of that 337 on that side. So I'm going to come back and divide by 337. Divide by 337. Those cancel off. And I get x squared is equal to 4,225 divided by 337 is 12.54. Again, we're solving for x. I need x equals, not x squared equals, so I need x equals. So I need to take the square roots and square root of this side. That's a 12.54. And so the square root of 12.54 is 3.54. Okay? And so now I know my scale factor. I know my scale factor is 3.54. And again, that's that magical number that I can use to multiply by our aspect ratio to get back to the original width and height of the actual television. So that's when I need to plug into that 16 and 9. So I'm going to say this is now 16 times 3.54. And that gives us 56.64. That's in inches. And 9 times 3.54 is going to give us 31.86. And that's also in inches. So again, make sure you keep them straight. Which one the width is, which one the height is. Very careful, because if you mix them up, it's wrong. The width is 56.64 inches. The height is that 31.86 inches. Now, last but not least, we need the area here. And area, since this is a rectangle, our screen is a rectangle, the area of the TV is just length times width, or base times height, however you want to say it. And that is going to be the 56.64 times 31.86. And that gives us a total area of 1,804.55 inches squared. So there's my area. 1,804.55 inches squared. Okay. And so there we go. Just kind of going back over it real quick. Again, that x value here, the x is called the scale factor. Make sure you know that term. Once you find it, you plug it back into your width and height for the x. You can find your width and height and then use that to find your area. Okay? There you go.